When the painting hits you, it punches you square in the nose and knocks you for stars. Because it's just completely and totally obvious what's going on as far as how the painting presents itself. And I usually then will snap up to 5 to 10 photographs of that particular image. That might happen in some venues. It's happened 2 or 3 times, and I walk away with eventually 2 good paintings. Most venues, the one painting describes the venue, and I've got the composition.
The composition, though, is that just limited to a single photograph, or is it multiple photographs?
No, it is multiple photographs. In some cases it might be a single photograph, and then other cases it might be a combination of painting out or in something that didn't exist in the first place. So once I capture it, I bring it back, I bring the reference photo into the computer. This is where I use my retouching skills. I use them to manipulate, color correct, change the photo, not necessarily for the purposes of it looking like a good photo, but change colors in the photograph. Most people would accept the sign as red in the photograph, but because I'm creating a painting, I deal with the color composition. I will change the sign blue, purple, whatever will complement the blue coat down below, and I'm doing that to make a better painting. Then, once I have the reference photo either altered from the composition, taking out a tree that doesn't work, or a person that's just not working, and I've altered the composition that way, and then color altered the composition, I'm ready to use the photograph as a reference. Now, when I'm painting, I have the photograph there in front of me, and I'm using a separate layer to do the painting. The coverage of my brushstroke on that layer, it is now at like 99.9% of the layer is brush strokes. Now the reason why I do this is because if you're painting an acrylic painting and you're mixing paints and you're doing flesh tones, you might use 20 different colors to make up the skin tone on a face and someone's arms and legs. If you're painting, let's just say someone in shorts, short sleeve and face, you might use up to 20 different mixed colors for highlights. And then when you mix them through the painting process, the acrylic process, it's mixing right there on the canvas. You might have 100 different, 200 different tones. When you're dealing with the photograph reference of what's there, and you're grabbing those different tones and the brush strokes that you're using on a 30 by 60 format, and in a 16 by 1/16 of a square inch with 37 brush strokes in the 16ths of a square inch, and then in the inch you're over 600 brush strokes in a square inch, and then you multiply 30 by 60, you get 1800 square inches. You multiplied by 600, you're looking at over 1.2 million brushstrokes. Now, once I'm finished with that painting, those 1.2 million brushstrokes are going to be put onto a digital canvas. I use the highest of quality archival inks to obtain the brightest colors possible today. I've done enough paintings where I start to understand those inks as my own paint. They're actually those inks have become my digital paint. Those inks I understand. I understand that you might not get the brightest colors in the greens, and some of the blues are lacking, and some of the purples lack. But the best thing about the process is they might lack those colors in the printing process, and then some of the strong colors, the yellows, the oranges, the reds that are very strong, the teals, that are super strong in these inks that I'm using, these archival 100-year archival inks that are being put on the canvas. I use their strengths to emphasize when I'm painting digital, where there's a weakness in the inks, which I'm full aware of the lack thereof in this process. I'm able to use the old-fashioned process of acrylic painting. Knowing that this weakness exists, I'm able to lay down purples and blues, intense ones, mix them, get the colors that I envision, that I think that should be there, and this makes a very intense, strong, colored painting.
And you end up, you're using the best of both techniques to produce a superior product.
Yes, then once I'm finished with that, I'm using social media to promote the crap out of this. I'm on so many different sites. I'm very specific on the sites that I'm on, and I've tried a couple, and I've dropped off of stuff, and I've done stuff, and sometimes I'm pushing to do things in different directions. Like last year, I was doing the See Me project through ArtSlant, and I was traveling to New York City for their shows because they were really promoting digital artists from around the world. This year, I'm with, go ahead.
How would you say your medium, and when I say your medium, not just the canvas, but the process of getting everything to the canvas that you described, how would that define you?
Well, I'm definitely a multimedia artist. I'm taking the age-old techniques of traditional painting and combining them with the new techniques of digital painting. And I can do this through the technology and the printing industry that's come so far and made high quality reproductions available at a reasonable price. So I like to call myself a digital acrylic fine artist.
Would you say your style is more realism or impressionism or what? Do you have a definition for it?
Well, I still haven't defined the direction that I'm going to go completely. I would say I love the feeling of brush strokes, but because of the ability and the detail that you're able to get through the digital painting. And that is done, actually, the digital painting is done with a tablet and a pen, and I like to go in Photoshop because they have realistic feeling brushes. And the feelings of those brushes are so much like the feeling of the actual acrylic painting that it's uncanny sometimes. And you can get some of the effects and the blending, and some of the stuff I learned through digital painting I can apply into the acrylic painting because I'm learning techniques where I'm like, well, that's how that works because you use those colors and you blend them out. But I would have to say realism is the direction that I go to, and I tried a series, the Cape Cod series, to be hyper-realism, where I went like crazy real. And that takes a lot more time, and it's still the part of me and my soul which is abstract. I like to be a little bit looser, and although it's similar to realists that, for instance, Edward Hopper, I still can, through the process, the digital process, obtain detail that he even found difficult to obtain.
Edward Hopper, of course, was the creator of the brilliant Nighthawks.
Yes, painting that inspired me, and that was a huge inspiration in doing what I'm doing.
So Jeff, where do you see yourself going style-wise and career-wise?
I have two different directions that I'm kind of concentrating on. I see myself, I would love to be able to do corporate artwork, hospitality artwork, work with designers, interior designers, architects to create artwork that will interact with spaces, or to actually go into a corporate event and capture a painting of that event and the people that came to it.
Sort of a commission work then.
Right. I see myself going in that direction because of the ability to take what I'm doing and the level of quality of work that I'm producing will lend itself to large formats. Right now, 30 by 60 is the small end of a large format. My paintings would easily be produced at 15 feet, 20 feet long, so we're talking, 10 by 15 feet long. It's something that I look forward to because the larger you reproduce the paintings, when you start the acrylic process, the more detail and the brush strokes can be more apparent at that. And the other direction that I want to go is personal artwork for myself. And that is one of the things when I took the job in here that was a non-art managerial job, it really allowed me to find myself as a creative person. And I've been doing artwork, and I'm good at doing artwork with other people and consulting with other people and capturing other people's ideas of what they want the imagery to look. I've done that my whole life. But creating artwork for myself is a fulfillment of something inside me that I really only in college had started to understand that. But I fully understand it now. And creating a piece of artwork that's completely and wholly your idea, although you have help with some people in your lives, forming that idea, the idea inevitably becomes your idea and you express it. And to be able to do that, have people enjoy that and like what you're doing is one of the most fulfilling feelings that an artist can have.
Jeff, that was a fascinating interview. Best of luck to you in the future.